You woke up today, and your heart feels heavy. You opened your eyes, but the weight on your chest didn't go away. You looked around, and everything seems the same as yesterday. The same walls. The same worries. The same silence that screams inside your soul. And you ask yourself, how long will I feel like this? How long will this weight stay with me? I know what you're feeling right now. I know, because this discouragement you're carrying isn't just tiredness of the body. It's tiredness of the soul. It's that feeling that nothing you do matters anymore. That your prayers aren't reaching heaven. That God has forgotten about you. That your strength has run out, and there's nothing left inside you to keep going. But I need you to hear these words today. I need you to open your heart, even if it hurts, even if you don't believe it yet. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't my opinion. It's not a pretty speech to make you feel better for 5 minutes. This is truth. This is the promise of the God who never fails, who never abandons, who never turns his back on his children. God is going to lift you from this discouragement. Not tomorrow. Not when everything is perfect. Not when you deserve it. But now. Right now. While you're still broken. While you're still crying. While you still don't understand why life got so hard. You see, discouragement is one of the deepest pains a human heart can feel. It's not like a wound you can see. It's not like a sickness that shows on your body. Discouragement lives in that place where nobody sees. It lives in the silence of your room when everyone thinks you're fine. It lives in that smile you force when someone asks, "How are you?" And you answer, "I'm okay," but inside, you're falling apart. Discouragement makes you question everything. It makes you look at your life and think that nothing was worth it. All those years of struggle. All those sacrifices you made. All those times you chose to do the right thing even when it was hard. And now, you look around and ask, where are the results? Where is the blessing? Where is God? Let me tell you something that might hurt at first, but it's going to set you free. This discouragement you're feeling? It's not because God stopped caring about you. It's not because you did something so terrible that he gave up on you. It's not because your prayers are useless or because your faith is weak. This discouragement is a battle. A spiritual battle. And the enemy of your soul knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that if he can make you lose hope, if he can make you believe that nothing will ever change, if he can make you give up on God, then he's won. Because a discouraged believer is a believer who stops fighting, who stops praying, who stops believing, who stops moving forward. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Here's what he's terrified you'll remember. Every single time in your life when you thought everything was over, God made a way. Every single time you thought you couldn't survive another day, you survived. Every single time darkness surrounded you, light came back. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still alive. And that alone is proof that God hasn't finished with you yet. I want you to think back for a moment. Think about all the battles you've already won. All the storms you've already survived. All the nights you cried yourself to sleep, certain that morning would never come, but morning did come. All the moments when you had no strength left, but somehow you found the strength to take one more step. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was God. Carrying you. Holding you. Keeping you alive when you wanted to give up. Breathing life into your lungs when you felt like you couldn't breathe anymore. And the same God who brought you through all of that is the same God who is with you right now. He hasn't changed. His love hasn't changed. His power hasn't changed. His promises haven't changed. You know what breaks my heart? It's seeing good people, faithful people, people who have served God their whole lives, sitting in the darkness of discouragement, believing the lie that they're alone. Believing the lie that nothing will ever get better. Believing the lie that they're not worthy of God's help anymore. If that's you today, I need you to stop right now and reject that lie. Push it away from your mind. Cast it out of your heart. Because you are a child of God. You are loved with an everlasting love. You are precious in His sight. And He has not brought you this far to abandon you now. The Bible tells us about a man named Elijah. He was a prophet, a man of God. He did incredible miracles. He called fire down from heaven. He defeated false prophets. He was strong, powerful, faithful. But then, something happened. He got tired. He got discouraged. And he sat under a tree and prayed to die. This mighty man of God, who had seen so many miracles, wanted to give up on life. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever felt like Elijah? Have you ever been so tired, so discouraged, that you just wanted everything to stop? Have you ever felt like you've done everything you could, and it still wasn't enough? But here's what I want you to see. God didn't reject Elijah. God didn't punish him for being discouraged. God didn't say, "You're weak. You're a failure. I'm done with you." No. God sent an angel to feed him, to give him rest, to give him strength. And then God spoke to him. Not in the earthquake, not in the fire, not in the storm, but in a still, small voice. And that's exactly what God is doing with you right now. In this moment, while you're listening to these words, God is speaking to your heart in that still, small voice. He's saying, "I see you. I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. I know you feel like giving up. But I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere. And I'm going to lift you up." You might be thinking, "But you don't understand. My situation is different. My pain is too deep. I've been discouraged for too long. I've lost too much. I've made too many mistakes." And I hear you. I really do. But let me ask you this. Is your situation bigger than God? Is your pain stronger than His healing? Is your discouragement more powerful than His hope? The answer is no. 1,000 times no. Nothing you're facing is bigger than God. Nothing you've lost is beyond His ability to restore. Nothing you've done is beyond His ability to forgive and redeem. God specializes in hopeless situations. He specializes in broken hearts. He specializes in lifting up people who have fallen down. That's who He is. That's what He does. And He's been doing it for thousands of years. Think about the people in the Bible. Abraham was too old, but God gave him a son. Sarah was barren, but God opened her womb. Moses was a murderer, but God made him a leader. David was an adulterer, but God called him a man after His own heart. Peter denied Jesus 3 times, but God made him the rock of the church. Paul persecuted Christians, but God made him the greatest missionary who ever lived. Do you see the pattern? God doesn't wait for perfect people. He doesn't wait for people who have it all together. He works with broken people, discouraged people, people who have failed, people who have lost hope, and He transforms them. He lifts them up. He gives them a new beginning. And if God did it for them, He will do it for you. Not because you're perfect, not because you deserve it, but because He loves you, because you're His child, because His mercy is new every single morning. I know it's hard to believe right now. I know your discouragement feels like a heavy blanket that's suffocating you. I know you've prayed and it feels like nothing has changed. I know you've cried out to God and it feels like He's not listening. But I promise you, He is listening. Every prayer, every tear, every cry of your heart, He hears it all. And He's preparing something for you that you cannot even imagine right now. The Bible says that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Your night has been long. I know that. It's been so long that you're starting to wonder if morning will ever come. But it will come. The sun will rise again. Light will break through the darkness. Hope will return to your heart. Not because of anything you do, but because God is faithful. And here's something beautiful. God doesn't waste your pain. He doesn't waste your tears. He doesn't waste your struggles. Every single moment of discouragement you've lived through is being used by God to prepare you for something greater, to make you stronger, to deepen your faith, to give you a testimony that will help someone else who is going through what you're going through right now. One day, you're going to look back at this season of discouragement, and you're going to see God's hand in it. You're going to see how He was with you every single step of the way. You're going to see how He protected you, how He provided for you, how He kept you from falling completely, how He held your hand even when you couldn't feel it. But you don't have to wait until later to believe it. You can choose to believe it right now. You can choose to trust that God is working, even when you can't see it. You can choose to hope, even when everything around you says there's no reason to hope. That's what faith is. Faith isn't believing when everything is perfect. Faith is believing when everything is falling apart. Faith is trusting God when you can't see the way forward. Faith is holding on when everything inside you wants to let go. And I'm here to tell you today, don't let go. Don't give up. Don't surrender to this discouragement. Because God is about to do something in your life. He's about to move in ways you never expected. He's about to open doors you thought were closed forever. He's about to restore what you thought was lost. He's about to lift you up from this pit of despair and set your feet on solid ground. You might not see it yet. You might not feel it yet. But it's coming. God's breakthrough is coming. His healing is coming. His restoration is coming. His joy is coming. And when it comes, you're going to know beyond any shadow of doubt that it was Him. That it was His hand. That it was His love. That it was His faithfulness. So today, I want you to make a decision. A decision to trust God one more day. A decision to believe His promises one more time. A decision to lift your eyes to heaven and say, God, I'm tired. I'm discouraged. I don't understand what you're doing. But I'm choosing to trust you. I'm choosing to believe that you haven't forgotten me. I'm choosing to wait for you to lift me up. And when you make that decision, something shifts in the spiritual realm. The enemy loses his grip. Hope begins to return. Strength begins to flow back into your soul. Not all at once. Not instantly. But little by little. Step by step. Day by day. This is just the beginning of what I need to share with you today. There's so much more that God wants to speak to your heart. If these words are touching you right now, if you feel that stirring in your spirit that says, this is for me, then please, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Not for me, but so that this message can reach more people who are discouraged, more people who need to hear that God hasn't given up on them, more people who need hope today. Because someone else out there is feeling exactly what you're feeling right now. Someone else is sitting in that same darkness. Someone else is wondering if God still cares. And your simple act of subscribing and liking this video helps this message reach them. It helps them find the hope they desperately need. Now, let me continue speaking to your heart about how God is going to lift you from this discouragement. Let me tell you about the ways He works, about the signs He's already giving you, about the preparation He's doing right now in your life. You see, when God is about to lift you up, He doesn't always announce it with trumpets. He doesn't always send a clear sign that says, get ready, your breakthrough is coming tomorrow. Sometimes, God works in silence. Sometimes, He works in ways that don't make sense to our human minds. Sometimes, the lifting begins in the invisible places before it manifests in the visible. Right now, even though you feel discouraged, even though you feel like nothing is changing, God is working. He's working in your heart, softening the hard places, healing the wounded places, strengthening the weak places. He's working in your circumstances, moving pieces you can't see, orchestrating events you don't know about yet, preparing people to cross your path who will bring blessing into your life. He's working in the spiritual realm, fighting battles on your behalf, defeating the forces that are trying to keep you down, breaking chains that have held you captive, opening doors that have been locked for years. And most importantly, He's working on your faith. Because here's the truth, God could instantly remove your discouragement. He could snap His fingers and make all your problems disappear. But sometimes, he allows the season of discouragement to last a little longer, not because he's cruel, not because he doesn't care, but because he's developing something in you that can only be developed through waiting, through trusting, through believing when you can't see. He's developing endurance. He's developing character. He's developing a deeper level of faith that will carry you through anything life throws at you in the future. He's developing a testimony that will be so powerful, so undeniable, that when he finally lifts you up, everyone who sees it will know that it was God. Think about a butterfly. Before it can fly, it has to struggle in the cocoon. It has to push and fight and work to break free. And if someone tries to help it, if someone cuts open the cocoon to make it easier, the butterfly will never develop the strength it needs to fly. It will have wings, but it won't be able to use them. Your struggle right now is developing your wings. Your discouragement is the cocoon that God is using to transform you. And when he finally brings you out, when he finally lifts you up, you're going to fly higher than you ever imagined possible. But I know that doesn't make it easier right now. I know the pain is real. I know the discouragement is crushing. I know you're tired of waiting. I know you're tired of hurting. And I want you to know that God knows it too. He sees every tear you cry. He feels every ache in your heart. He knows every sleepless night you've had. He knows every moment you felt like you couldn't go on. And his heart breaks for you. Not because he's weak. Not because he can't help you. But because he loves you so much. Because you're his precious child. Because your pain is his pain. And he's not going to let you stay in this place of discouragement forever. The Bible tells us that God is close to the broken-hearted. He saves those who are crushed in spirit. That means right now, in this moment of your deepest discouragement, God is closer to you than he's ever been. You might not feel him. You might not sense his presence. But he's there, right beside you, holding you, comforting you, whispering words of hope into your spirit. And he's saying, I know it hurts. I know you're tired. I know you want to give up. But hold on just a little longer. Hold on for me. Hold on because I have plans for you. Good plans. Plans to give you hope and a future. Plans that are better than anything you could imagine right now. You know what amazes me about God? He doesn't just promise to help us someday. He doesn't just promise that things will get better eventually. He promises to be with us right now, in the middle of our mess, in the middle of our pain, in the middle of our discouragement. He doesn't wait until we're fixed to show up. He shows up while we're still broken. And that's what he's doing with you right now. He's not waiting for you to pull yourself together. He's not waiting for you to get stronger. He's not waiting for you to stop being discouraged. He's with you right now, in your discouragement, and he's beginning the work of lifting you up. Sometimes that lifting starts with a small shift in your perspective. You start to see one small thing to be grateful for. One small blessing you hadn't noticed before. One small reason to hope. And then another. And another. Until slowly, like the sun rising after a long night, light begins to fill your heart again. Sometimes that lifting comes through a person. Someone who calls you at just the right time. Someone who says just the right words. Someone who reminds you that you're not alone. Someone who sees you when you feel invisible. Someone who cares when you feel forgotten. Sometimes that lifting comes through a breakthrough in your circumstances. A door opens that was closed. A provision comes that you weren't expecting. A problem resolves that seemed impossible. A healing manifests that the doctors said wouldn't happen. But here's what I want you to understand. However God chooses to lift you, whenever he chooses to lift you, the most important thing is that you remain open to him. That you don't close your heart. That you don't build walls around your soul and refuse to let anyone in, including God. Discouragement wants to isolate you. It wants to make you pull away from God, pull away from people, pull away from life itself. It wants you to sit in the darkness and convince yourself that this is all there is, that this is all you deserve, that things will never change. But you have to fight that. You have to resist that. You have to choose, even when it's hard, to stay connected to God. To keep praying, even when it feels like He's not listening. To keep reading His Word, even when it doesn't seem to speak to your situation. To keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. To keep believing, even when everything around you says you're foolish to believe. Because faith isn't a feeling. Faith is a decision. A daily decision. Sometimes a moment-by-moment decision. A decision to trust God regardless of what you see, regardless of what you feel, regardless of how long it's taking. And every time you make that decision, you're giving God permission to work in your life. You're opening a door for Him to move. You're creating space for His miracle to manifest. You're positioning yourself to receive the breakthrough He's preparing for you. I want you to think about something. What if your breakthrough is closer than you think? What if you're on the verge of the greatest season of your life, and the only thing standing between you and that breakthrough is your decision to not give up today? What if God has already set everything in motion, and all you need to do is hold on just a little bit longer? What if tomorrow is the day everything changes? What if next week, you look back and realize that this moment right now, this moment when you felt like you couldn't go on, was the turning point? What if this discouragement you're feeling is actually the darkness that comes right before the dawn? You can't give up now. Not when you're this close. Not when God is about to move. Not when your breakthrough is right around the corner. You've come too far. You've survived too much. You've held on through too many storms to let go now. And I know it's hard. I know you're exhausted. I know every fiber of your being wants to just stop fighting and let the discouragement win. But you're stronger than you know. You're more resilient than you realize. You have more faith than you give yourself credit for. And most importantly, you have a God who will never, ever let you fall. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Your discouragement isn't happening by accident. I don't mean that God caused it. I don't mean that God wanted you to suffer. But I do mean that God is using it. He's using this very moment, this very pain, this very struggle to prepare you for something you cannot yet see. You see, there's a difference between the way we see our lives and the way God sees our lives. We see the present moment. We see what hurts right now. We see what we've lost. We see what's broken. We see what's missing. And all of that feels overwhelming. It feels like the end of the story. But God sees the whole picture. He sees where you've been. He sees where you are. And He sees where you're going. He sees the beginning and the end. He sees the struggle and the victory. He sees the tears and the joy that's coming. He sees what this season of discouragement is producing in you, even when you can't see it yourself. Think about it like this. Imagine you're looking at a beautiful tapestry, a work of art woven with threads of many colors. From the front, it's gorgeous. You can see the picture clearly. You can see how every thread works together to create something beautiful. But if you turn that tapestry around and look at the back, what do you see? You see knots. You see loose threads. You see colors that don't seem to make sense. You see mess. Right now, you're looking at the back of the tapestry. You're seeing the knots and the mess and the confusion. But God is looking at the front. He's seeing the masterpiece. He's seeing how every thread of your life, even the dark threads of discouragement and pain, are being woven together to create something beautiful. And one day, He's going to turn that tapestry around and show you what He's been creating. And you're going to weep. Not tears of sadness, but tears of wonder. Because you're going to see that nothing was wasted. Every tear had a purpose. Every struggle had a meaning. Every moment of discouragement was preparing you for a moment of breakthrough. But here's what you need to understand right now, even before you can see that masterpiece. God is asking you to trust Him. To trust that He knows what He's doing. To trust that He hasn't made a mistake with your life. To trust that He's in control, even when everything feels out of control. And I know that's hard. Trust is always hard when you're hurting. Because trust requires surrender. It requires letting go of your need to understand everything. It requires accepting that God's ways are higher than your ways, and His thoughts are higher than your thoughts. It requires believing that He loves you, even when His love doesn't look the way you expected it to look. But here's the beautiful truth. When you choose to trust God in the middle of your discouragement, something powerful happens. You stop fighting against the season you're in. You stop exhausting yourself trying to figure everything out. You stop beating yourself up for not being stronger. And instead, you rest in His arms. You lean into His strength. You let Him carry the weight that you were never meant to carry alone. And that's when the lifting begins. Not when you've pulled yourself together. Not when you've figured it all out. Not when you're strong enough. But when you're weak enough to finally admit that you need Him. When you're broken enough to finally surrender. When you're desperate enough to finally let go and let God be God. The Bible tells us a story about a man named Job. He lost everything. His children, his wealth, his health. His friends turned against him. His wife told him to curse God and die. He sat in ashes, covered in sores, wondering why God had allowed such suffering to come into his life. And for a long time, he questioned. He complained. He demanded answers from God. But then, God spoke to Job. And God didn't explain why all those terrible things had happened. Instead, God reminded Job of who He was. The Creator of the universe. The one who hung the stars in place. The one who commands the morning and knows the way to the dwelling of light. The one who provides food for the ravens and gives strength to the horse. And when Job heard God's voice, when he was reminded of God's power and wisdom and sovereignty, something shifted in his heart. He stopped demanding answers. He stopped trying to understand. And instead, he worshipped. He trusted. He surrendered. And then, the Bible tells us, God restored everything Job had lost. He gave him twice as much as he had before. He blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the first. Not because Job earned it. Not because Job deserved it. But because God is a restorer. Because God specializes in turning mourning into dancing and sorrow into joy. And the same God who restored Job wants to restore you. He wants to lift you out of this discouragement and set you in a place of blessing. He wants to give you back what you've lost, and more. He wants to turn your pain into purpose and your mess into a message that will help others. But first, He needs you to trust Him. He needs you to stop fighting. He needs you to stop trying to do it all in your own strength. He needs you to come to Him, just as you are, broken and discouraged and tired, and let Him be your strength. You know, one of the most beautiful verses in the Bible says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Did you hear that? Jesus isn't saying, "Fix yourself first, then come to me." He isn't saying, "Get stronger, then come to me." He's saying, "Come to me when you're weary. Come to me when you're burdened. Come to me when you have nothing left. And I will give you rest." That's an invitation. A personal invitation from the Creator of the universe to you. Right now. Today. In this moment of your deepest discouragement. He's inviting you to come to Him. To lay your burdens at His feet. To let Him carry what you cannot carry. To let Him fight the battles you cannot fight. To let Him lift you when you cannot lift yourself. And when you accept that invitation, when you truly come to Him with an open heart, something miraculous happens. His peace, which surpasses all understanding, begins to guard your heart and your mind. Not because your circumstances have changed. Not because your problems have disappeared. But because you're no longer carrying them alone. You're no longer trying to be strong enough. You're resting in His strength. You're trusting in His promises. You're believing in His faithfulness. And that peace, that rest, that trust becomes the foundation for your lifting. Because you can't be lifted while you're still holding on to control. You can't be lifted while you're still trying to figure everything out on your own. You can't be lifted while you're still refusing to surrender to God's will and God's timing. The lifting comes when you let go. When you release. When you say, God, I can't do this anymore. I need you. I trust you. I believe that you're going to work this out for my good, even though I don't understand it right now. I'm putting my life in your hands. Lift me up in your time and in your way. That's the prayer that changes everything. That's the moment when heaven moves on your behalf. That's when the angels are released to fight for you. That's when doors begin to open. That's when provision begins to flow. That's when healing begins to manifest. That's when hope begins to return. But I need you to understand something important. The lifting doesn't always happen the way you expect it to happen. Sometimes, God lifts you by changing your circumstances. He opens that door you've been praying would open. He provides that financial blessing you've been needing. He heals that relationship that seemed beyond repair. He removes that obstacle that's been blocking your path. But sometimes, God lifts you by changing you. He gives you strength you didn't have before. He gives you peace in the middle of the storm. He gives you joy even though your circumstances haven't changed. He lifts your perspective so that you can see your situation through His eyes instead of through the eyes of discouragement. Both are miracles. Both are God's work. Both are His way of lifting you. And you need to be open to however He chooses to do it. Because sometimes, the greatest miracle isn't the changing of your circumstances. Sometimes, the greatest miracle is the changing of your heart in the middle of your circumstances. I've seen it happen over and over again. People who were so discouraged, so broken, so hopeless, and then something shifted. Not in their situation but in their spirit. They started to see glimpses of hope. They started to feel moments of peace. They started to experience touches of joy. And those glimpses and moments and touches gradually grew until they were living in a completely different place emotionally and spiritually, even though their external circumstances were still difficult. That's God lifting them. That's God working from the inside out. That's God proving that His grace is sufficient, and His strength is made perfect in weakness. And here's what I love about that kind of lifting. When God lifts you from the inside, when He changes your heart and your perspective and your spirit, that's something nobody can take away from you. Circumstances can change again. Problems can arise again. Difficulties can come again. But if God has done a work in your heart, if He's given you His peace and His strength and His joy, you'll be able to face whatever comes with a completely different attitude. You'll still have hard days. You'll still face challenges. You'll still experience moments of sadness. But you won't be living in discouragement anymore. You'll be living in hope. You'll be standing on the solid foundation of God's faithfulness. You'll be walking in the confidence that no matter what happens, God is with you and God is for you. And that's freedom. That's victory. That's what it means to be truly lifted by God. Now, I want to talk to you about something that's really important. I want to talk about the lies that discouragement tells you. Because discouragement is a liar. It whispers things to your heart that simply aren't true. And if you believe those lies, they will keep you trapped in that pit of despair even when God is trying to lift you out. One of the biggest lies discouragement tells you is this: you're alone. Nobody understands what you're going through. Nobody cares. God has forgotten about you. That's a lie. A complete and total lie. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Even in your darkest moments, even when you felt like nobody was there, God was there. His presence surrounded you. His love covered you. His hand held you. And there are people who care about you. Maybe they don't know how to express it. Maybe they don't know what to say. Maybe they're dealing with their own struggles and they seem distant. But that doesn't mean they don't care. And it certainly doesn't mean that God has forgotten you. The Bible says that God has engraved you on the palms of His hands. Do you know what that means? It means you're always before Him. He never forgets you. He never loses sight of you. You are constantly on His mind and in His heart. Another lie discouragement tells you is this: nothing will ever change. This is just how your life is now. You might as well accept it and stop hoping for better. That's a lie too. Things change. Seasons change. Circumstances change. People change. And most importantly, God is a God of change. He specializes in transformation. He takes the impossible and makes it possible. He takes the dead and brings it to life. He takes the broken and makes it whole. Your situation is not permanent. This discouragement is not your destiny. This pain is not your future. God is preparing a change. He's orchestrating a shift. He's setting up a breakthrough. And just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not coming. Another lie discouragement tells you is this: you deserve this. You've made too many mistakes. You've failed too many times. This is punishment for all the wrong you've done. No, no, no. That is one of the cruelest lies the enemy tells, and I need you to reject it with everything in you. Yes, we all make mistakes. Yes, we all fail. Yes, we all do things we regret. But God is not punishing you. God is not holding your past against you. God is not keeping a record of your wrongs and using this discouragement to pay you back for them. God is love. Perfect love. Unconditional love. And His love doesn't change based on your performance. His love doesn't decrease when you fail. His love doesn't run out when you mess up. His love is constant, unchanging, everlasting. If you've sinned, if you've made mistakes, if you've fallen short, then yes, confess those things to God. Ask for His forgiveness. Receive His grace. But then, let it go. Don't carry the weight of guilt and shame. Don't let the enemy use your past to rob you of your future. God has forgiven you. The blood of Jesus has washed you clean. You are a new creation. Old things have passed away. All things have become new. And one more lie I want to address. Discouragement tells you, you're too weak to overcome this. You don't have what it takes. You might as well give up because you're never going to make it. That's a lie designed to destroy you. Because the truth is, you're right. You don't have what it takes. In your own strength, you can't overcome this. By yourself, you're not strong enough. But here's the truth that changes everything. You don't have to do it in your own strength. You have access to the strength of Almighty God. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives inside you. The same God who spoke the universe into existence is speaking life into your situation right now. The Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not some things. Not easy things. All things. Through Christ. Not through your own strength. Not through your own ability. Through Christ who strengthens you. So when discouragement tells you you're too weak, you can say, you're right. I am weak. But my God is strong. And His strength is made perfect in my weakness. So I'm not giving up. I'm not letting go. I'm holding on to God, and He's going to lift me up. If this message is speaking to your heart right now, if you're feeling that hope beginning to stir inside you, I want to invite you to do something. Subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video. Not for my benefit, but because there are so many people out there who need to hear this message. People who are discouraged. People who feel forgotten. People who need to know that God is going to lift them up. Your simple act of subscribing and liking helps this message reach them. It helps YouTube show this video to someone who is searching for hope tonight. Someone who is about to give up. Someone who needs to be reminded that God hasn't forgotten them. You could be the reason they find this message. You could be the reason they hold on for one more day. And that one more day could be the day everything changes for them. Now let me tell you about the signs that God is preparing to lift you. Because even though you can't see the full picture yet, there are signs all around you that God is at work. You just need to know what to look for. One sign is this: you're still here. You're still alive. You're still holding on. Even though you've wanted to give up 1,000 times, something inside you keeps going. That's not just your willpower. That's not just your determination. That's God sustaining you. That's His strength carrying you. That's His life flowing through you. And if He's keeping you alive, it's because He has a purpose for your life. He has plans for you. And those plans are about to unfold. Another sign is this: you're hearing this message right now. Out of all the videos you could be watching, all the things you could be doing, somehow you found this message. Or maybe this message found you. That's not coincidence. That's divine appointment. God led you here because He wants you to know that He sees you. He hears you. He knows what you're going through. And He's telling you through these words, hold on. I'm about to lift you up. Another sign is the restlessness in your spirit. You feel like something needs to change. You feel like you can't keep living like this. You feel like there has to be more. That restlessness isn't coming from discouragement. It's coming from your spirit sensing that a shift is about to happen. It's your soul recognizing that God is stirring. It's your faith, even though it's small, reaching out for the breakthrough that's coming. Pay attention to that restlessness. Don't ignore it. Don't try to suppress it. That's God waking something up inside you. That's Him preparing you for what He's about to do. That's Him getting you ready to rise. You know what I've learned about God after all these years? He never wastes a season. He never allows you to go through something without purpose. And this season of discouragement you're in right now, as painful as it is, as heavy as it feels, it's not wasted. God is using it to prepare you for where He's taking you next. Think about a seed. When you plant a seed in the ground, what happens? It gets buried in darkness. It's covered with dirt. It looks like it's dead. It looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, in that darkness, something powerful is taking place. The seed is breaking open. Roots are growing down. Life is stirring. And all of that has to happen in the dark before anything can break through into the light. You're that seed right now. You're in the darkness. You're buried. You feel like nothing is happening. But I'm telling you, beneath the surface of your discouragement, God is doing something powerful. He's growing roots in you. Deep roots of faith. Strong roots of character. Unshakable roots of trust. And those roots are going to hold you steady when the storms of life come in the future. And just like that seed, you're about to break through. You're about to push through the soil. You're about to emerge into the light. You're about to see growth and fruit and beauty that you couldn't even imagine while you were in the darkness. But here's what you need to understand. The breakthrough doesn't come because the seed tries harder. It doesn't come because the seed is worthy. It comes because it's the nature of a seed to grow. It's what seeds do. And it's the nature of God to lift up His children. It's what He does. It's who He is. So stop trying to earn your breakthrough. Stop trying to be good enough or strong enough or faithful enough. You don't have to earn God's help. You don't have to qualify for His blessing. You don't have to prove yourself worthy of His love. He loves you simply because you're His child. And He's going to lift you up simply because that's what a loving Father does. I want to talk to you about timing. Because I know one of the hardest parts of discouragement is the waiting. You've been waiting for things to get better. You've been waiting for God to move. You've been waiting for the breakthrough. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. The more discouraged you become. But God's timing is perfect. Even when we don't understand it. Even when it feels too slow. Even when we think He's forgotten about us. His timing is always perfect. The Bible tells us that there's a time for everything. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to tear down and a time to build up. And right now, you're in the time of weeping, the time of mourning, the time of tearing down. But that time is coming to an end. The time of laughing is approaching. The time of dancing is getting closer. The time of building up is about to begin. You can't force God's timing. You can't rush His process. But you can trust it. You can believe that He knows exactly what He's doing. You can rest in the confidence that when the time is right, when everything is in place, when you're ready and the world is ready and heaven is ready, God will move. And when He moves, everything will change in an instant. I've seen it happen so many times. People who waited and waited and waited, and they thought nothing would ever change. And then, suddenly, overnight, everything shifted. The door opened. The provision came. The healing manifested. The breakthrough arrived. Not because they did anything different. Not because they finally earned it. But because the time had come. God's perfect time. And your time is coming. I don't know if it's tomorrow or next week or next month. But I know it's coming. Because God is faithful. Because He keeps His promises. Because He loves you too much to leave you in this place of discouragement forever. While you're waiting, while you're in this in-between season, I want to give you some things to hold on to. Some truths that will sustain you until the breakthrough comes. First, hold on to this truth. Your worth is not determined by your circumstances. You are not less valuable because you're going through a hard time. You are not less loved because you're discouraged. You are not less important because you're struggling. Your worth comes from God. And in His eyes, you are precious. You are honored. You are loved with an everlasting love. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can change that. Second, hold on to this truth. Your story is not over. This chapter is hard. This season is painful. But it's not the end of your story. There are more chapters to come. Beautiful chapters. Blessed chapters. Victorious chapters. God is writing a story with your life that will bring Him glory and bring hope to others. And the best parts are still ahead. Third, hold on to this truth. Your struggle has purpose. You're not going through this for nothing. You're not suffering in vain. God is using every tear, every prayer, every moment of pain to shape you into who He's called you to be. He's using this season to prepare you for your purpose. He's using this discouragement to develop a testimony that will help countless people in the future. Fourth, hold on to this truth. Your prayers are heard. Every single prayer you've prayed. Every single cry you've released to heaven. Every single time you've called out to God. He's heard them all. He's not ignoring you. He's not too busy. He's not unconcerned. He hears you. And He's answering. Maybe not in the way you expected. Maybe not in the timing you wanted. But He's answering. And His answer is always perfect. And fifth, hold on to this truth. Your God is able. He's able to do exceedingly, abundantly above all that you could ask or think. He's able to make a way where there is no way. He's able to bring life out of death. He's able to turn your mourning into dancing. He's able to lift you out of the pit. He's able to restore what's been lost. He's able to heal what's been broken. He's able to redeem what's been wasted. He's able. And not only is He able, but He's willing. He wants to do these things for you. He's just waiting for the right moment. Now, I want you to do something with me. Right now, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I want you to make a declaration. I want you to speak these words out loud, even if your voice shakes, even if you don't fully believe them yet. Because faith comes by hearing, and sometimes we need to hear ourselves speak the truth before our hearts can believe it. Say this with me: God is going to lift me out of this discouragement. I don't know when. I don't know how. But I believe He's going to do it. I believe He hasn't forgotten me. I believe He has a plan for my life. I believe my breakthrough is coming. I believe my best days are ahead of me. I believe God is working right now, even when I can't see it. I believe He loves me. I believe He's for me. I believe He's going to lift me up. Did you say it? If you did, something just shifted in the spiritual realm. Your declaration of faith, even though it might have felt weak, even though you might have doubted the words as they came out of your mouth, that declaration moved heaven. It pushed back darkness. It released angels to work on your behalf. It opened doors in the spiritual realm. It positioned you to receive what God wants to give you. Never underestimate the power of your words. Never underestimate the power of declaring God's promises over your life, even when you don't feel them yet. Because faith isn't about feeling. Faith is about believing. And when you speak words of faith, even in your discouragement, you're agreeing with God. You're aligning yourself with His will. You're making yourself available for His miracle. I want to tell you one more story before we close. There was a woman in the Bible named Hannah. She was barren. She couldn't have children. And in her culture, that was a source of deep shame and discouragement. Year after year, she watched other women have babies while her arms remained empty. Year after year, she prayed and prayed, but nothing changed. And one day, she went to the temple. And she prayed with such intensity, with such desperation, that the priest thought she was drunk. Her lips were moving but no sound was coming out. She was pouring out her soul to God. She was laying her discouragement at His feet. She was surrendering her pain to Him. And that day, God heard her prayer. Not because she prayed louder than before. Not because she prayed better than before. But because it was time. It was God's perfect time to answer. And within a year, Hannah had a son. A son who would become one of the greatest prophets in Israel's history. A son named Samuel. But here's what I want you to see. Hannah's breakthrough didn't come when her circumstances were perfect. It didn't come when she had everything figured out. It didn't come when she was strong and happy and full of faith. It came when she was broken. When she was desperate. When she was at the end of herself. It came when she finally let go and surrendered everything to God. And that's when your breakthrough is going to come too. Not when you're perfect. Not when you have it all together. But when you're willing to surrender. When you're willing to trust. When you're willing to believe that God is who He says He is, and He'll do what He says He'll do. So today, right now, I'm inviting you to surrender your discouragement to God. I'm inviting you to lay it at His feet. I'm inviting you to say, God, I can't carry this anymore. I can't fix this myself. I can't make myself feel better. I need you. I need your strength. I need your hope. I need you to lift me up. And I'm trusting you to do it in your time and in your way. And when you do that, when you truly surrender, you're going to feel something shift. You might not feel it immediately. You might not feel it today. But in the coming days and weeks, you're going to notice that the weight is lighter. The darkness is less dark. The discouragement is loosening its grip. Hope is beginning to return. Joy is beginning to peek through. Life is beginning to flow again. That's God lifting you. That's His hand reaching down and pulling you up. That's His love surrounding you. That's His strength empowering you. That's His faithfulness proving itself true once again. And one day, maybe not too far from now, you're going to look back at this season. You're going to remember how discouraged you were. You're going to remember how hopeless you felt. You're going to remember how certain you were that nothing would ever change. And you're going to shake your head in wonder. Because you're going to see so clearly how God was with you every step of the way. How He never left you. How He carried you when you couldn't walk. How He lifted you when you couldn't stand. How He brought you through to the other side. And when you see that, when you experience that lifting, you're not going to keep it to yourself. You're going to tell others. You're going to share your testimony. You're going to be a light for someone else who is sitting in the darkness of discouragement right now. You're going to be able to say, I know how you feel. I've been there. And I'm here to tell you that God is going to lift you up, just like He lifted me. That's the purpose of your pain. That's the reason God allows you to go through these valleys. Not to destroy you. Not to break you. But to prepare you. To equip you. To give you a testimony that will help others find hope when they can't find it anywhere else. So hold on. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Keep praying. Keep declaring. Keep surrendering. Because God is faithful. And He's going to do exactly what He promised. He's going to lift you out of this discouragement. He's going to set your feet on solid ground. He's going to put a new song in your mouth. He's going to restore your joy. He's going to renew your strength. He's going to give you beauty for ashes and the oil of joy for mourning. Your lifting is coming. Your breakthrough is approaching. Your victory is certain. Not because you're strong enough. Not because you deserve it. But because you serve a God who is faithful. A God who loves you. A God who will never let you go. And until that day comes, until you see the full manifestation of your breakthrough, I want you to remember this. You are not alone. God is with you. Right now. In this moment. He sees you. He knows you. He loves you. And He's holding you close to His heart. You are going to make it. You are going to survive this. You are going to come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more full of faith than ever before. Because that's what God does. He takes broken people and makes them whole. He takes discouraged people and fills them with hope. He takes people who are down and lifts them up. And He's doing that for you right now. Maybe you can't see it yet. Maybe you can't feel it yet. But it's happening. Trust me. Trust Him. Your lifting has already begun. Before we close, I want to ask you one more time. If this message has touched your heart, if you feel hope stirring inside you for the first time in a long time, if you sense that God is speaking directly to you through these words, please subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video. Do it as an act of faith. Do it as a declaration that you believe God is going to lift you up. Do it as a way of helping this message reach someone else who needs it just as much as you do. Because somewhere out there, someone is on the verge of giving up. Someone is sitting in darkness, thinking there's no hope left. And your act of subscribing and liking could be the reason this video shows up for them. It could be the reason they hold on for one more day. It could be the reason they find their way back to God. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for opening your heart to this message. I'm praying for you. I'm believing with you. I'm standing in faith with you that God is going to do exactly what He promised. You are loved. You are valuable. You are not forgotten. And your best days are still ahead of you. God is going to lift you out of this discouragement. Believe it, receive it, and get ready to see it manifest in your life. May God bless you, keep you, and fill you with hope today and every day. Amen.